One. We're live.
Hello and happy Sunday, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We are just back from our first ever Cunard cruise, and I haven't been able to take off the tux ever since. I even sleep in this thing now. Super comfy.
Oh, man.
Oh, join us today. We're going to talk all about that recent cruise experience.
Well, hello and welcome to our show. We are Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Connects.
Yes, and this is our Sunday live show that turns into our Monday podcast on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube. So if you don't catch it live, check us out on Monday mornings. You can see us and repeat.
There you go.
Or if it's such a good show, you can listen to it a second time.
There you go.
There you go.
Keep watching, whichever way.
We have got a jam-packed show today.
We do.
Because we are very excited to talk about Cunard. I thought it was going to be an easy show, but there's a lot of controversy I'm learning as we talk to more and more people that were there with us and people that have been asking questions since. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't as easy as I thought it was. Mm. Mm-hmm. It's not just as easy as putting a tux on and having a great time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You didn't put your ball gown on today, though.
I did not put my ball gown on. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
No?
No.
You had enough of Cunard, have you?
No. You know me, any excuse to wear a dress. I'm wearing a dress, just not a ball gown. I'm not so much over the top as he is.
You know me, any excuse to wear a tux.
Yeah, right. It took me getting him on a Cunard cruise, guys, to finally convince him to buy a tux. Mm-hmm. You didn't wear a tux to any of your children's weddings.
No, I didn't. So. And I should have. I must admit, I felt the tux was more comfortable than a suit. Don't ask me why. Maybe because I didn't have the cummerbund or the vest underneath.
Yeah, you didn't have that.
Didn't have the fancy stuff in there, yeah. Bruno was obviously allergic to my tux.
Yeah, sorry. Bruno's off screen right now, but he's having a fit of sneezes. I'm not sure if you guys heard that.
You done yet, Bru? Just stealing the show over there off camera?
You want to come say hi?
Oh, so there he is.
Here's Bruno.
He did not go on a Cunard cruise with us.
He did not.
So he gets no opinion today or vote.
Oh, okay.
And today, what do we got going on? So a couple updates before we get into the heart of the Cunard stuff and also saying hi to everybody online.
Okay.
And we had a video finally come out since we've been back. And that was the Cunard Queen Elizabeth ship tour that we did while we were on board.
That's right.
So we had that one come out, I don't know, a couple days ago now, I guess it was. Mm-hmm. And so you know what that means? It means the rest of the vlogs are coming soon.
That's right.
So we're hard at work doing all that. I came back with a bit of the cruise crud, so I've been fighting kind of a scratchy throat on and off all this week. So that's been keeping my my energy levels down a little bit from doing constant editing like I usually do.
And can you imagine, guys? I was with them and I haven't caught it. So there you go. Usually if one of us catches it, we're very nice to share with each other. But luckily he didn't start to feel sick until we disembarked. And then we got home and he's been sleeping in the guest bedroom ever since.
For some reason, she doesn't like the tux in the same bed as her. That's what I think it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, so I've got the emergency water this week instead of a Crown and Diet. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get Crown and Diet on the ship. I don't think. I thought there might have been a bar that had it. I just didn't. I'll tell you all about that. There was a bar. There was complications with the bar drinks. Mm. Yeah. And other than that, what else do we have? Group cruise update. Mm. The only really update we have is that we are still having group cruise in February 2025. And we are taking bookings. We had a couple people reach out to us while we were away. Mm-hmm. So we're just getting caught up with that. So we'll get those people sorted out and get some emails sent out for what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. I think we're at 65 people right now.
Yes.
And we also have some news coming up. We're just doing the final preparations on getting excursions set up in a way that people that are booked on the group cruise can use their onboard credit for that as well and join us for an excursion or two if you want. Mm-hmm. Some news to come on that. That'll come out on our Facebook group. And yeah, I think that's all the group cruise. I avoided talking about 2026 so far. Have you noticed? Oh. We still haven't got our ducks in a row for that one yet. We are planning on doing a 2026 group cruise. We just have to get all the details worked out before we formally announce it to everybody. So stay tuned. We said we'd get on that when we get back, and we've already started to work on it. Mm-hmm. We just have nothing formal yet. So we don't want to say we're doing this and then find out it's not that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sorry, guys. Life's busy. We would have liked to have had it organized and announced by now, but we're falling behind with other things.
I just noticed online that some people are commenting that they're calling me out that the camera resolution is obviously too good because I thought I could get away with wearing the tux jacket and my cheater T-shirt underneath. But I see that Sherry has called me out.
She's asking if you're wearing a tucked bib. It's actually a t-shirt.
I tried. Oh, you guys are all too good.
Mhm.
We need to have lower resolution lives, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just a blur.
Yeah, that would be better. Maybe we really should just go to a podcast so people don't see us, just hear us.
There you go. You don't have to see the text that way. But then you don't get to see Bruno because he doesn't talk much on the lives.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, so coming up this week for videos, as we mentioned, the vlogs are going to start rolling out once we get caught up with them this week. So hopefully we're going to have a travel day to Vancouver. We had 4 airports in one day on 3 different connecting flights. So we filmed that just to see how much fun that would be, living in airports all day. I think we woke up and left around 9 in the morning on our time, and we don't think we got to bed till about 2:30 our time in Vancouver. So
yeah, it was a long day.
we filmed all that, and we also did a special day in Vancouver. We had an extra day before our cruise, so we filmed a day in Vancouver, what to do. We did an excursion there.
We had lots of fun.
So that'll be coming out as long as with the cruise. There's lots of content coming. I just need to get healthy enough to get on the editing table and start doing it. And I'm partway there. The other thing that started coming out this week, some of you may have noticed that the email list that you thought had disappeared forever returned.
We're trying, guys. We're trying.
Yes. So we're going to try to get an email out as often as we can. If there's stuff going on every week that we want to update you, that'll come out every week. And if there's less going on, or we're on a cruise or packing for a cruise, you might see it drop off now and then. But we're going to make it more regular,
Right.
And kind of more conversational, and kind of let you know what's going on in our world, so you can keep up to speed with all the Cruising Canucks stuff and things that we have going on. So if you don't know how to join that, go to our cruisingcanucks.com website, and there's a little button at the top, and just click that, and you'll be able to join the email list. I think we have over 400 people.
Yeah, please join.
There's lots of people. Yeah, we also get emails back from people when we get them in the first place, starting a conversation. So it's a nice communication back and forth from time to time. We'll jump back over to your favorite time of the year, the show.
Oh, no.
Trivia time.
Oh, good.
It's also Ruth's favorite, too.
Yes, Ruth enjoys trivia a little bit more than I do, though.
Oh, and today's trivia question, it's already on the screen for everyone that's watching.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't have glasses on, so I can't read what you've got. I caught part of it.
Okay, it's a multiple choice. You got 4 chances of being right. And it is, why is the Alaska Panhandle not part of Canada? So that little sliver that comes down that we go to on the cruise ports all the time, why is that not part of Canada? Why is that little sliver there? Okay.
Right.
And here is your options.
Oh, it's a multiple choice?
Multiple choice. Yeah, you got a 1 in 4 chance, right?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Is it because that's how Russia sold it to the USA? They already had the boundaries there. That's what Russia gave when they sold it off. I think that was, I want to say 1867, but around there, if it's not that date. Is it B, the USA just drew a line there and they just took that as their own? C, Britain sided with the USA on that boundary in a dispute? Or D, Canada didn't want any more snow and ice, so they let them have it.
Well, I doubt it's D. Oh, a lot of people are saying A here. We're getting a lot of answers coming in that says A. It was owned by Russia.
It was owned by Russia.
Yeah, almost everybody is saying A. We don't have anybody giving you a different answer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worth a Google search.
Oh.
But before you do that, everybody's saying A.
Everybody's saying A.
I'm going to get tomatoes thrown at me.
Oh, no.
It is B. No, it's C. It's C.
Yeah.
So here's what happens in 1903. Canada disputed that little sliver, that panhandle, and they said that that should be part of theirs, or at least they thought part of it should be part of theirs. That there was a dispute over how far inshore the boundary should have been drawn. The Americans thought it should be from the main part of the land in, and the Canadians said it was from the outer islands in. So that left a big sliver that should have been part of Canada. So this actually went to an international dispute. There was 2 Americans on the international tribunal. There was 2 Canadians on the tribunal. And there was a British person on the tribunal back in the day, because Canada was technically part of the Confederation still, right?
Right.
So that's why the British person was there. The British person sided with the USA and said exactly what the USA thinks they have is exactly what they have, and Canada has no rights to any other part of it.
There you go.
That is the official story.
That is it?
Yeah. Exciting, eh?
Wow.
Don't you love history? Oh, so there you go. That's why. So it wasn't D, Canada didn't want any more snow and ice. Which would have been probably your answer.
Would have been my answer for sure.
You could have that.
Take it. Snow and ice? No.
Although in saying that, it was sunny and beautiful, our whole cruise, and we gave a whole different light of what it was like to be in Alaska. It was gorgeous. It really was.
Yeah, it really was. Really was, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's your trivia.
Mhm.
I also have a picture. I don't have a thing to go with the picture, but I thought we should show it. We were on this cruise with 14 other people.
Yeah.
And the people that were there made an absolutely wonderful time, regardless of what everybody thought about Cunard. There was a lot of different opinions that we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
It was the people there that made it such a wonderful time. So I'm going to show those people up on the screen.
Ooh,
There is the beautiful group on formal night where it was the icy white night
icy white night.
with the tuxes and the ball gowns. And
Oh,
what a good looking group we had for representing the cruising connects there.
yeah. Look at all those Canucklings. It was
Mhm.
wonderful.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, and thank you, Bruce managed to fire this picture off to me this morning so I could get it in time for the live. So thank you, Bruce.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, that was a wonderful time, and that is in the Queen's room that we had that picture taken on that night.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So let me get rid of that. But yeah, what a wonderful time. So thanks everybody that went with us. It was a wonderful time,
Mhm.
and we seem to be bouncing back and forth now. We seem to have a pattern in place. Have you noticed
Mm.
that we cruise with some other people, then we cruise on a cruise by ourselves, then we seem to be with some other people. So and that seems to be the pattern we've got set up, kind of
Mm.
the next few that are coming. So yeah, Sherry
Yeah.
says everybody looks great. As Jill says she loves it too.
Yeah.
And Sherry wants to know if Canada ever forgave the British.
Mm.
I have to answer this question
Oh, you do? He's on a roll today.
because there is a backup to that story, and I forgot about it until she asked the question. And that is that it was at that point that Canada realized that they didn't have to give in to the whims of what the British and the Americans wanted, and they had to establish their own foreign policy. And so from that point on, Canada realized that we can't rely on Britain fighting for us. We can't rely on the U.S. We got to actually set our own policy and be our own country and be a little more independent. And so Wilfrid Laurier, one of our prime ministers, kind of came on with that kind of tone saying, we are moving forward. We are becoming an independent country, and we're not going to wait for someone else to be on our side. We're going to do our own thing.
So Mr. Canuck doesn't have enough jobs. He's decided that he wants to try to become a history teacher too today.
I read all this. I read all this when I was researching this question. So this is what I came up with.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my throat's sore to talk about like other stuff, but when it comes to history, I'll talk all day long.
There you go.
But I won't because you kill me. Oh, okay. What do we have next? I think we have one more thing before we talk about Cunard details, and that is the question and comment of the week.
Oh,
And since you do all the filming, maybe you can answer this one.
I do all the filming.
How are you able to get those ship tours when there's nobody around? Do you do a pre-boarding and film it then, I guess is the question.
Right. So the answer is no. We just get up early and do it. So generally what we do is we decide to do our ship tour on the last sea day that we have on whatever cruise ship we're on, and we get up early, and before we have breakfast, before we do anything, we film. And so often, we're starting at anywhere around 6 to 7 in the morning, and we're walking around the cruise ship filming before people are out and about for the most part. I mean, sometimes it doesn't always happen, and so we might have to use a clip from earlier to piece it in to make it work. If there's sometimes by the time we get to the buffet, it's full of people. You can't show what the buffet restaurant looks like, so we'll use a clip from previous footage that we've had during the week.
You got it all figured out, your filming strategy.
I'm doing a really good job at filming it.
Good job.
I'm the director. He's actually the cameraman. I'm walking behind him while he's filming, saying, did you get this? Did you get that? Right?
Yeah. And you think that we're up early doing this. We were traveling with a couple other people in that group of 14.
We were sleeping in compared to them.
Yeah, they have some YouTube channels of their own you should check out. There's Scott's videos, and there's Bruce and Tawny Untethered.
That's right.
And they were up like at 5, 6 in the morning filming their ship tours that they were filming. So they probably saw the ship even more abandoned than what we saw it.
There you go.
Yeah, I think even Bruce had commented that the buffet was literally they just put everything out. Nobody was even there yet. He was that early. So
there you go. We didn't do that.
So we sleep in compared to some people.
We do.
Especially on this ship. When it goes to West Coast time, we have a little bit of jet lag. We usually sleep in a little better on the West Coast cruises, I find.
Jerry sleeps in on any cruise he's on. He doesn't sleep in at home. He's usually up every morning in the 5-ish mark, but put him on a cruise ship and he'll sleep later than me, which is kind of funny because it's not our everyday life.
Then we come home, and I've been getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning all week long, and she's been sleeping till like 8.
Really, I don't know if it's the jet lag or what it is, but I've been really suffering this last week. I've been having a hard time getting to sleep each night, and in the morning, I don't really want to get up. I wake up at around 7, which is late for me, and generally at 7:30, quarter to 8 by the time I pull myself out of bed. Bruno's liking it because he just wants someone to sleep with him all day long these days.
Yep. Okay, so I think we'll go through a bunch of these. I have a whole whack of things.
Wow.
Oh, that's a lot, eh?
Whew.
Ooh, you see how I used the word A there? If you watched our video when we were on the cruise, we had a cruise that talked about the 10 things to be able to fit into Canada. One of those 10 things was how to use the word A appropriately. That was a good example if you go rewind that section there. Did you get it?
Oh my goodness. I think he must have taken a hyper pill before this live. You're like bang, bang, bang right now. Okay, you can go now.
Talk again? Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to steal a little bit, and I'm going to age us, I think, here. Maybe some of the people will know what we're talking about.
Oh,
We're going to do a little bit of the Siskel and Ebert thing, where we're going to do a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
okay.
So we're going to raise different things about the Cunard cruise, and you have to give a thumbs down or up, and I'm going to do the same thing. We'll see if we agree or not.
Oh, okay.
And we can even explain ourselves.
This isn't going to work very well for the podcast version of this.
Well, we'll have to.
Do we have to use words too? Because if we just do a thumbs up and a thumbs down, the poor people listening to us on their commute to work tomorrow, they're not going to really have much content.
All my good plans go down the drain when you decide to criticize them. So yes, we'll have to say that we were thumbs up. We'll have to now verbally, yeah.
Just sort of thought that maybe.
You got your notebook here. Would you like me to write it out too? This is her computer.
This is where if you look in this book, you'll see where all the secret letters were hidden for the journey to the secret
people will be able
word.
to see that now and zoom in on it, and they got the answers.
There you go.
Oh. So first thing, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
And this is for our experience on the Queen Elizabeth specifically. So we're going to say Cunard, but we're kind of meaning we only have one experience on Cunard, which is Queen Elizabeth. So it might be different on some of the other ships.
True enough.
We'll know more if we go on more Cunards. We'll find out the very last question whether or not we plan on cruising Cunard again.
Oh, okay.
And I'll call it Cunard, and then you can call it Cunard, and we're covered.
There you go. That's a good idea.
We're safe that way with everybody. So, thumbs up or thumbs down for experience on the Queen Elizabeth. Ship layout and decor for you, is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, why for you?
It's classic and elegant is what I would be the two words I would use to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the layout, I don't know how they did it. I'm still trying to figure it out in my brain because I'm very analytical. I never found a crowd. Like the exception being the buffet. But if I wasn't on deck 9 at the buffet, then the rest of the ship, especially the decks 2 and 3, where most of the indoor activities are, and the lounges and pubs and theater, I rarely saw a crowd. Like hardly ever did I even see anybody sometimes. So you'll see when we do the vlogs and we're walking along, it's not one of those situations where we're trying to avoid to film other people. There's just nobody around. I don't know why. Maybe we didn't know the popular places to go to. Yeah, that's what it is.
Be. Yeah, maybe we went to all the wrong venues.
Yeah, we did Cunard all wrong.
We did it all wrong. No.
Oh, so as far as layout, design, however they did it, it worked really well for flow. I liked the fact that the casino was non-smoking, so I think that was a bonus.
A very small casino. So if you're going on a cruise because you want to be in the casino, it's probably not the cruise ship for you because it is probably one of the smaller casinos we've ever seen.
Yeah. And I think that, overall, the classic cruise liner, almost like an ocean liner look. I know that's kind of what Cunard's thing has been in the history. I think that kind of comes through on this ship. It has that classic feel to it.
I would agree.
So I would agree. We both gave that a thumbs up. And we'll go a couple of questions in here, then we'll jump over to a few questions.
Talking about decor, though, before you move on, I just have to talk about all the fresh flowers everywhere because you can just smell them as you're walking through. It's such a nice little touch. So that adds to the decor for me.
Yeah, fresh flowers everywhere. We even have fresh flowers in our room.
Yeah, thanks to Cunard.
Yeah, Cunard gifted us some flowers to
welcome us aboard.
It's funny, they were very fragrant. When you walked in, you could smell the fresh flowers. It was like walking into a garden every time you went into our room. So.
Beautiful.
Okay, next question for you is thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
Management and the use of space around the ship. So the overall general, how did they make use of the ship and the activities and how did they fit in? Is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you?
I don't know that I have an opinion on it. Okay. Management, management use of space around the ship.
Yeah.
Can I just do that and not do either one? I don't.
Are you doing a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, it seems fine. I don't have a strong opinion either way.
I'm going to go thumbs up, but I have one negative to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your opinion?
Well, my thumbs up is for the management use of space as far as how they use the ship. I like the fact they had lots going on, different activities and things, and the way they used all the different lounges. There wasn't any, like, usually we found a lounge on a ship that's hardly ever used. We're like, why don't they use this space? We feel that a lot. I feel they used all the spaces equally really well.
Okay.
And there wasn't anybody like screaming on a microphone telling you to go do this now and that. It was a very subtle. But the other thing that was a downside, though, from the management of spaces was the control of the temperature in the rooms.
Oh, in the general rooms, not your cabin. We definitely found that it was one of the hottest cruise ships, no matter what venue you were on, for sure. So if you're talking about that, then I would definitely have to give it a thumbs down in that. They had a very nice, they called it the Yacht Club. That was where they had the dances every night. The DJ was there. They did an ABBA theme night one night. We went there for a silent disco one night. Loved it both times. But it was so hot in that venue that it was unbearable. And we asked multiple times if they could give more air conditioning to that room, and it never happened. So that would be definitely a negative for me. Yeah,
we sat around with little portable fans in many of the venues and dining rooms because it was so hot. And considering the fact that the men wear the tuxes, a lot of men wear jackets, dinner jackets.
Yeah.
And so you're wearing a little more clothes that sometimes I find you even wear on other cruises. Meanwhile, the air conditioning was not at the same level as other cruises.
But I mean, I was in the Yacht Club in a spaghetti strap little silky dress one night, and I was dying of heat in there. So yeah, it would only be worse for a man for sure.
Yeah, so that part was down bad. They had a big kind of common area, which was the Queen's room, which they used really well every night, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something going on in there. There was tea time in the afternoon. There was dance lessons and yoga in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they made use of that space. Yeah, all in all, it was, for a ship of only a couple of thousand people, all the spaces were used really well. It wasn't like, there was nothing going on. And the venues, even all the way up top on the Lido deck, there was a garden lounge.
And there was live music there every night, which was kind of nice. It was definitely a quieter place. There was never a crowd there, so you were able to get a seat in and not worry about getting there early to get a seat.
Yeah, for sure. My only complaint would be I wish there was a way they could have had a little more shade on the aft pool area, which is a flaw of this ship design. Holland America has some ships like this, New Amsterdam and Eurodam come to mind, where there's wide open aft pool areas that have no shade.
Right.
This was the same. Although it was nice, there was no smoking area back there, so that area was kind of smoke free, which was a plus. So it was back and forth on how they use the spaces on the ship.
All right.
And this will be a little easier for you. We're going to focus on food.
Oh, I don't know if it's easier on me or not. How do you have the
question?
Okay.
The question is dining venue options. So like different types of restaurants and facilities to be able to have food, not the menu options specifically. That'll be a different question. So variety of different dining options around the ship.
Okay.
Like say the bad example being something like MSC where you had to go to the buffet because there was nothing else.
Right.
The good example being something like Carnival where there was like 6 different options.
Right. So I would give it a thumbs up for that.
Me too.
Okay. And the reason why I would give it a thumbs up, what I really loved, and this was the first cruise in 45 cruises that we've ever sailed, where the dining room was open for lunch every single day that we were on board, whether it was a port day or a sea day, it was open for lunch. So I loved that because I will say it had one of the worst buffets I've ever seen on a cruise ship. So I was able to not have to go to the buffet and could go to the main dining room for lunch. The Golden Lion pub offered lunch. There was a burger place at the aft of the ship where you could get a burger. So yeah, I would give it a thumbs up.
There's also the Cafe Corinthia.
Oh, that's true.
That offered food as well. So that was another option.
Yeah, we had that one day for a later lunch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there was multiple food options around the ship at all times. It wasn't like you're always stuck into a venue. Mm-hmm. Maybe that helped control the flow of people around the ship too. Maybe that's why it didn't feel crowded.
That's true. The buffet was crowded. Yeah. I will say that. Mm-hmm. That's the only time we noticed crowds.
And thumbs up or thumbs down. MDR, it's the main dining room, menu, options, and food quality.
Okay.
Uh-oh. We're not agreeing on this one. I'm thumbs up. Mrs. Canuck is down.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my meals in the MDR. I just would have preferred more options. And I love to eat seafood, which most of you know. And I had 2 different types of fish throughout it. And both times they were sort of a miss for me. And so then if I'm not having seafood, I want steak or red meat. And so, yeah, it was a little bit less options than what I would, if I would compare it to like Holland America's dining room, I would say that I would prefer Holland America's dining room for options of food. But I enjoyed what I had most nights, with the exception of a couple of meals that were sort of a miss for me.
For me, it was a big win.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of more what I would call exotic dishes. There was Asian dishes on there. There was curries, British curries that were on there. And even I tried some fish one night. I actually liked it. I'm not a big fish eater, but I had some hake, I think it was, one night. I thought was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I never had a problem. Even appetizers, I was always able to find different things. So yeah, for me, the buffet was actually a win. And this should
Not
be
the buffet. You just said the
the main
buffet.
dining room. And this shouldn't be a big surprise because we often differ on our opinions of what to eat in the first place. So
Yeah.
What was a loss for you was probably a plus for me as far as the more different exotic things. Yeah, because I'm not a seafood or steak eater at all.
Right.
So there you go.
There you go.
So it depends what you like.
I guess it does.
And we should add in as well that we were traveling with 14 other people, so we were listening to all the different opinions, and we actually just spoke to a bunch of our patrons before this live about the Cunard cruise and what everybody thought after they looked back and reflected on it. And there was some other opinions that were more on your side, I would say.
Yeah, and some people had not great service in the main dining room. We were fortunate enough that we were able, when we booked this cruise originally way back when, months ago, we booked it with 2 other couples knowing that was coming, and then the group sort of grew. So the people that added later tried to get a set table, and unfortunately, Cunard never were able to accommodate that in a set time that they had the same table every night. They had to go to the dine whatever time you want, and they would try to get them a table. So that was a little regretful. But I feel like, we did the dine our way once, only one time in all of our cruises did we choose that as an option. When it first came out and we thought it would give you more flexibility, it would be a great option. But what we found then when we did it was that you get a different waiter every time. And so you don't get the same sort of service. You don't get the same sort of, I much prefer, and this is a point that we have always sort of cruised by, is that we try to get set dining time every night at the same time with the same waiter, the same table. Because I feel like it always elevates and it gives you a better dining experience. In saying that, I'm trying to do it for an upcoming cruise and I'm not having success getting it booked. So we might be doing dine anytime your way in the next few cruises.
Talking to Princess there?
I'm talking about Princess. Yeah, I was trying to get it we have Sun Princess coming up in the fall and I can't seem to get anything. I can't get a set. The only time I can get a set dining time is if I'm willing to eat at 5 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. And that's a little early and a little late for us. So we might have to just sort of roll with it and show up and hope they feed us at a more reasonable time.
Otherwise, we'll starve.
We might be going to the buffet.
Buffet every night. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so thumbs up, thumbs down. I think you already played your hand with this one a little bit, though. Menu options and food quality.
Well, isn't that what I just answered?
No, this is the buffet. You said the MDR.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The buffet was definitely not a hit for me.
For the podcast people, both gave a thumbs down.
Right. I would say that it was one of the worst ones we've had at sea. At least like MSC, I would compare it to similar. I didn't like the buffet that we had on MSC. The one thing I did like on the MSC buffet was their pizza. It was delicious, and I had it every single day while we were there. So I tried the pizza on the buffet in Cunard, and it was, no, it wasn't something I would repeat.
See, I would say MSC, I actually enjoyed their buffet.
Right.
Again, we don't agree on things, but I would say that I agree on this buffet. I found the selection was very minimal. It reminded me a lot of Morella. And I don't think if you're going on something that you're used to, like a Royal Caribbean or a Celebrity or
Holland America
or Princess, those type of buffets, big grand buffets with everything under the sun, you're not going to get that.
It's not that. It's small. But I mean, it's a smaller ship. But in saying that, we just got off the Volendam, and the buffet on the Volendam, which was a smaller ship than the Cunard, I would say had more options for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so the buffet was kind of a swing and a miss, but it didn't ruin the cruise by any means because we
No.
had so many other options.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, still on the food thing, specialty dining options and value.
I wish I maybe need to prep when he does these questions because I need a little advance warning.
What do you think? We need a couple of things.
Okay. Can you read the question again?
Your thumb looks like it's broken.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to do here because thumbs up or thumbs down.
Specialty dining options and value.
And value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh, I'm really struggling because we had a good experience and a bad experience. So, okay.
I'm trying to decide for the same reason. I'm going to go up.
I'm doing sideways here, guys. I don't have a thumbs up or a thumbs down because I can tell you, I'll talk to you about the two experiences that we had. We paid for the specialty champagne tea, and I was really excited about this. It was one of the things that when we booked the cruise, I'm like, we got to get this. We got to get this. I have to do this because we did the specialty tea upgrade when we were on the Morella cruise, the best experience we've ever had at a tea on a cruise ship. So I thought, I got to get on a Cunard cruise and I got to see what they do for their specialty tea because I'm sure it'll be wonderful. It really was a disappointment. I would not recommend paying for it. They gave you a half of a glass of champagne. That's all it was. And they gave you a pumpkin flavored scones that just seemed so wrong.
But for sure,
and I don't know. We paid a lot for a very little thing is what I would say.
I would say the 3 p.m. tea in the Queen's room every day is better than the paid champagne tea.
Right.
For sure.
Now, going to why I thought it was great was we did do the Veranda Steakhouse for lunch, and that was phenomenal. And I would definitely do that again and recommend that.
Yes. I agree. The lunch, the Veranda was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the same type of food and even more options were available at dinner. And I think that would have amazing too. We had someone traveling with us that did it. They loved it too.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I think that works. Let's see how far
this is harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's almost like a quiz.
Oh, yeah, I know. I hate these quizzes. But I was done school.
Maybe we'll go to some questions because we changed topics to entertainment. Maybe we'll jump back and see if we got any questions. How's that sound first before we go to the rest of them? Does that work for you?
Sure.
Give your thumb a rest.
Okay. Gislyn is asking, did you notice any solo cruisers on your Cunard cruise? So what I can talk about that, Gislyn, is I do know that the Queen Elizabeth even has solo cabins on our cruise ship because I looked into trying to book one for a family member when we booked this. Unfortunately, they were already sold out when we booked way back when. But I did also notice in the schedule that they have solo meetups every single day. I saw it multiple times on the program throughout the week. I didn't speak to anybody that was cruising solo, so I can't comment on that. You have anything to add?
I have no adding to that.
Okay. Trying to see if I can scroll through another question.
Scrolling. Kelly and Steve are saying hi. I see that there as I'm scrolling.
Okay. I thought I saw a few other questions at some point, but I'm sorry.
I'm looking to. If you book your dinner, I'm just trying to read what Anna's got here. If you book your dinner reservation on embarkation day for the duration of your cruise, you may have better luck for the time you want. See, we find the opposite because by then everything's already booked solid and they can't squeeze you in.
I would definitely be trying it. I've tried to book it on the app. I've tried to book it on the website. I even called Princess and still got nowhere. So definitely it'll be something I'm trying to deal with as soon as we get on board the ship. Sorry.
Glenn's got a question.
Okay.
How was the entertainment? We got thumbs up, but you can comment on that if you want now.
No, you can go. You can do.
No, it's okay. You can talk about it. You're allowed. I don't think you need permission.
I thought the entertainment was really good. I enjoy main theater, and we had main theater shows throughout the voyage that all were very well done, and I enjoyed them a lot. The other thing that I can say about the entertainment that I really liked was there was lots of live music at different places, from the Lions pub to the to the garden lounge, to the Queen's room, other places even more than that. They were at the Commodore Club, and at the Yacht Club there was sometimes a piano person there. Then it turned into the DJ and live music. So yeah, I really thought there was lots of great entertainment on board.
No,
String quartets too, always in the atrium. Piano players throughout the ship.
Yeah, there was more entertainment that you could get to any given night, is how I would describe it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just Googling an answer for one of the questions I see coming up here.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of questions even.
Mm-hmm.
How much was the Veranda Steakhouse per person? Is Sherry's question.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Trying to remember what we paid for lunch.
We didn't. We were gifted it with a friend.
Friends of ours
treated us.
I think it was around $30 or $40 for lunch.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think dinner was twice as much as that.
I don't know. I can't comment on that because we didn't do it.
Was the ship near capacity? Gary asked.
Yes, the ship was at capacity. There was a sign on board the day we were there saying that they were at full capacity and there was no rooms available for upgrades. So that's what they told us, was that the ship was sold out. Mm-hmm.
And how would you compare this with Princess?
I would compare some of it to Princess. I would compare what we saw in the main theater was very similar to Princess. Production shows maybe a touch more involved than what we saw, for sure. I'm trying to think, compare it to Princess. So the biggest difference between Princess and Cunard, in my opinion, is the piazza and the atrium. So the atrium on Cunard is very reserved, classic. They had string instruments playing there every night, or someone playing the grand piano. So it was very much more quieter experience than someone, doing game shows in the piazza that sometimes happens on a Princess cruise ship this day. I don't know. Do you have more to say about that? Comparing
No,
the
I think
two?
that's the same. As I like the layout of this differently than the older Princess ships are similar layout, I guess.
Right.
So that's hard to compare.
Yeah, it's hard to compare the newer ones with the
I
older
would
ones.
say MDR. I would say I have a similar experience. I always find things to eat in the MDR, so the food I find similar.
Mm-hmm.
I feel Princess now has gone to more of a for fee service for some of their dining options other than just MDR and buffet, like the pizza place and the pub. Whereas that's still for free on Cunard. So I think
That's
that
true.
Cunard has some beat there.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment, I think Princess is still a notch above their production shows, but I think the music around the ship was better with Cunard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think if you like Princess and you like it for the little classier dressing up that might be on Princess compared to some other cruise lines,
I would say that Cunard was definitely, one of the things that I loved about Cunard, and I knew going into it that I would, was their gala nights. Those were phenomenal nights for me. I loved the idea of having a themed night and giving people that heads up when you book the cruise so that and you can participate if you want. So we had a masquerade night where we were wearing masks, and a lot of people did. And so that part I really liked with Cunard. I found it was a little more elevated for the formal nights than what you would find on a Princess now, because a lot of times I'm finding on Princess cruise ships that 50% of the people will dress up and 50% won't. Whereas Cunard, it felt like everybody had made an effort and was wearing, a fancier evening wear.
And so if they hold your feet to the fire, Cunard or Princess, which one do you think is better right now?
Yeah, I can't give you that
you
answer.
Can't answer?
Oh, no. I
People
think there's,
need to know.
So here's my negative with Cunard, in that Princess has a really good Princess Plus package and all of that sort of thing. So it gives you a very sort of more all-inclusive feeling of a cruise. I felt like Cunard, the internet is expensive. The drink package is expensive. To order a drink on the ship is more expensive than Princess. So if I had to say tomorrow I had to book a cruise, which one would I choose, Princess or Cunard? I'd probably go with Princess. Yeah.
Interesting. I was all ready to actually say that I would take Cunard over Princess right now. But on the last couple of points you just made, you've now kind of maybe changed my mind, and now I'm not so
Yeah.
I think if I'm going on a cruise and I don't want to have any drinks
Yeah.
or any internet,
Yeah.
I'm probably taking Cunard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I'm looking at the bigger picture, like you just said, and you're throwing in drink package and all the other perks and stuff, if Cunard had a package like the Have It All of Holland America,
Yeah.
and the Princess Plus or Premier,
Yeah.
if they had that available at an affordable cost, I think Cunard would be beating Princess. That's kind of where I'm at.
I saw somewhere someone had a question about Holland America compared to Cunard, and I would say that Cunard and Holland America are more aligned than Princess and Cunard in my mind. And so in answering that, I would probably say Holland America gives you a little bit of what Princess gives you, and it gives you a little bit of what Cunard gives you. So maybe Holland America is the one that I would throw in. So you guys have heard me say for the longest time, we keep going back from Holland America to Princess as our two favorite cruise lines, and now we sort of threw Cunard in there,
right in the middle.
But I think Holland America still does a really good in between and gives a little bit of all of it. So I would probably pick Holland America over Princess.
There you go, Cunard. If you're listening, get a package together. You might start winning some hearts and minds.
They really need to, and they also need to get an app. That's another thing that we found was really a miss, especially when you're traveling with a group. We love that you can chat in the app with Holland America and Princess. Even Carnival does that, where you can do a chat, and so in the app, and they don't have that on Cunard. They're missing that technology, and they should get that together for sure.
Christine wants to know what the passenger capacity is, and it's just over 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to Holland America's, New Amsterdam and Eurodam, that size of ship.
Mm-hmm.
I see that Paul and Carol have joined us.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. They're spying to see what we thought of the Cunard experience.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
And we're still halfway through that. It's a big topic.
Oh.
We had lots of good things, and we had a couple of strange things.
Yeah.
And Paul and Carol are no strangers to the idea that the bar prices and setup is just awful. So
crazy expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And trying to see if there's any other questions before we jump back to our others here. Nope. Other than Paul and Carol said hi, so we should say hi.
Mm.
Okay, let's go back to a couple other questions though we had for ourselves, if I can find them.
Okay.
Your thumbs up and thumbs down. Let's go. You kind of answered some of these already, but it might be easy for you now.
Okay.
Entertainment, main theater show selection and quality. Thumbs up or down?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
We really
100 times better than what Holland America offers. I still want Holland America to get some production shows going for me where there's a dancer and a singer, not just dancing.
Yeah, I would say they're up there. Yeah, better than Holland America.
Yeah.
Really tight with Princess, maybe a little bit below in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And thumbs up, thumbs down, entertainment options and quality around the ship. So not main theater, so music, different things going on.
So yeah, I think we did answer that. Definitely a thumbs up. We thought that there was lots of live entertainment throughout, to the point that, there was a few nights that we just stayed in one venue, and then we realized that we missed a lot of things. And so we sort of had to make a conscious effort to keep an eye on the schedule, because, somebody that we only sing one song, we're like, they're really good, we want to sit through their whole set tomorrow. So we would try to make a point of leaving wherever we were, even though we were having a good time wherever we were, but we wanted to sort of get a taste of all of it. So
and for some perspective, this is only a 2,000 passenger ship. Meanwhile, any given night, I would say there's somewhere between 4 and 6 different things going on at any given time for music options and people around the ship, which is unheard of. Even you compare that to Holland America, we somebody else got 1 or 2 options at any given moment.
That's true. Cunard's much better when it comes to options to listen to what type of music you like.
Yeah, even better than Princess. So I think for entertainment, Cunard, which is funny because for what I thought was going to be a more traditional, maybe dress, quieter, more reserved type of cruise, entertainment was fantastic. The quality was good. The amount of it was good.
They had silent disco. I mean, we thought we were going to be listening to Mozart ballroom music the whole time, and yet here I am up in the yacht club dancing with silent disco.
Yep.
So yeah, for
sure. And activities and ambiance around the ships, that whole buzz. How was the feel of the ship in the evenings? I always talk about that. Thumbs up or down?
I would give that a thumbs up too.
Yes,
for sure.
Always lots going on, and it was always, how do I describe it? Always your own kind of motivated fun. You went and chose whatever you want to do. There wasn't somebody in an atrium on a loudspeaker yelling, saying, get up on the dance floor, we're going to do some line dances, or get up and go to do this now on the speakers overhead. It was more reserved. You planned out your own fun. You found out what other people were doing. It was more of a social experience that way than it was a directed experience by some of the other cruise lines that kind of try to tell you how to cruise when you're on their ships.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense to people or not. But yeah, that's how I would describe the ambience as being much different around the ship.
It was more elegant, is
Yeah.
how I would describe it. Not only because of the music venues and all the options they had, but the decor of the ship sort of goes into that in the evening, I find. And also, I found people were more dressed up than what we're seeing when we're doing a Caribbean cruise,
Yep.
probably because they're in Alaska and they wanted more clothes on. I don't know. But there was never a case that I saw men wearing what I think they should only be wearing at a pool in the ship in the evening. You know what I mean? And that's what I deal with when we go on cruises and in the Caribbean all the time, that people forget that, okay, we're not beside the Lido deck at the pool anymore. Maybe we should go put on something nicer for the evening. And that was definitely not the case on the Cunard cruise.
Yeah, one thing in your stateroom, whenever you went back in your stateroom, you had to put a little key in to get the power back on. And when you did that, your TV always came on, and it always came back to the same channel. It always had a message on there about dress code on the ship. That was the first thing that came up. And it always talked about how after 6 p.m., that unless you're at the pool, I think it was, or in the gym, then T-shirts are not allowed around the ship.
Lions Club, I think or the Lions Pub, I think was the exception to that. And of course the buffet restaurant. But yeah, like we would go and have cocktails at the Commodore Club every night. And as you're walking in, there's a sign post-it that they put on a pole and stick out in front of that venue every night. And it basically tells you there's a dress code in effect to come into the Commodore Club past 6 p.m.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I see some other questions coming in, so I'll jump to them before I get to our final 3 questions. How's that sound?
Okay.
So, I tried to click over to your computer, but that wasn't going to work.
It didn't work?
No, I can't get to your computer from my computer. I just saw a couple more questions. They're right towards the bottom, I think. Whoa.
Oh, Patty's answering. It was $65 a night for dinner at the veranda.
Yep.
So that's a pricey specialty dining in my mind.
There's one. Paul and Louise were asking, what's the average age on a Cunard cruise? That's a tricky one for this cruise. I'm not sure if it was because it was Alaska or not.
Right.
We literally saw multi-generational families all over the place.
Right. But I would say the majority of people were our age.
Yeah.
There might have been some older and a few younger, but I would say our middle-age group, we were sort of right smack dab in it. I didn't feel like we were the youngest ones in there. I also didn't feel like we were the oldest ones. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I think if you're in that 40 to 60 range, you're right in the heart of everybody that was on board, except for a few outliers.
Yeah.
And usually the outliers were there because they were with other family that were in that range.
Yeah, like there were some children there, not a huge amount, but there were a few, people in their 20s, but you could see that they were cruising with their parents too. Mm-hmm.
Me and my manly man wants to know if you get something like the Princess Patter every night.
Yes, you do. You get a very detailed, probably one of the better daily schedules, I would say. Yeah, in your cabin.
And you need it because there's no app to keep track of it.
Yeah, I had to bring it in my purse with me every night because.
Now, we say there's no app, but one of the folks following or traveling with us showed us that if you go to the Cunard website, you could go and navigate through the website and find information about your account and what was going on. But it was very cumbersome and not the average person be able to figure it out. It wasn't as easy as an app.
I think you started using it the last night of the cruise or something. So, yeah.
Paul and Carol want to know if they had a big band night.
They sure did. It was fabulous. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, and what was interesting about big band night and all the other, even that orchestra that played in the Queen's Room quite often, that they would play songs, you'd be listening to it because they would announce it as a waltz or a rumba or something like that. If you listen closely, also you're like, hold on, that's Michael Jackson or that's ABBA. It was really bizarre what they did with the music. For someone who's a fan of music and how they kind of did some twists on music, I think you'd be a big fan of what they did in the Queen's Room for sure.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And Rose wants to know if you ever tried open dining before.
We did it once.
Yeah. We weren't big fans of it.
We weren't big fans, so that's why we try to do the set dining. But we'll probably be doing it again on the Sun Princess, so follow along and see how it goes with us.
Hopefully not. Oh, I just made my final payment for the Sun Princess today.
Well, and I can't get any dining booked unless I want to eat at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Or 8:30.
This is a big one.
Okay.
Thumbs up or thumbs down. There's
Okay.
going to be lots of discussion on this one for sure.
All right.
Bar and drink options and drinks and prices around the ship and everything else.
That's a big thumbs down.
Two thumbs down for me and one for Mrs. Cunard.
Yeah, probably two, if I didn't have Bruno on my other arm. Most expensive drink package at sea, correct when I say that?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. And so we thought, okay, we're not getting the drinks package. We sort of, took advice from people that have gone before. Thank you, Paul and Carol, and saying, don't do it, just run a bar tab. And so we sort of went there in mind of like, yeah, we're going to have drinks and we're not going to not have a drink, but we'll have drinks throughout the voyage. So we did, but man, they were pricey too. You want to tell them about your rye and Coke?
Yeah, so I ordered a rye and Coke, and I expected to pay for the rye, and that was on my bill. What caught me off by surprise was after the ice and after the rye, there was a little room for pop, maybe 2 or 3 ounces.
Yeah.
Soda, for those watching from the USA.
Southern USA.
And the pop or soda, I was billed for that. I've never been charged for mix in a drink in all the years of me cruising or even going to a bar anywhere else in the world. I had to pay for that little bit of soda.
So his liquor was $11 US, and then they charged him $4.50 or $5.50, something like that.
$5 for
a
couple of shots of like Diet Coke.
So yeah, their drinks are pricey, is what I'll say. And also, some of their cocktails were just not sort of up to par as to what I'm used to on Princess and Holland America. I had a Cosmopolitan a few times, and I did enjoy the Cosmopolitan. It was okay, depending on what bar you go to and what bartender. I had the margarita the first day we got on board, and then I forgot how bad it was and ordered it like day 8 and realized, why did I do this again? Because it's probably the worst margarita I've ever had. So yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't have the drink package. The plus side on it, though, was we were able to bring wine on board. They do allow you to bring a bottle of wine each with you. And so we had wine with us, and then we noticed that they weren't checking when we were at ports about whether you brought on more. So we ended up buying wine when we were having stops throughout our voyage and brought that on no problem. We were able to consume that in our room. And so, yeah, we had wine with us. Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't get to test it all the way. I didn't try to get a bottle of, rye or vodka or something, bring it on. But I don't think they had a process for collecting it, even if they... regardless what the policy was, you could bring it on, is what it looked like.
Yeah, they didn't have a place like if you're on a Princess ship or a Holland America Carnival, all the other cruise ships we've been on, there's always a table set up and there's a lady there collecting any alcohol. They flag it through security and they put it and they write down your cabin number and they deliver it to you on the last night of your voyage. None of that happened on Cunard. There was no place to bring it. They just they x-rayed it, saw that I had a bottle of wine in my backpack and gave me my backpack back.
And Scott brings up an interesting point too, that a lot of cruises now you can go for and have a happy hour deal. So if you don't have a drink package, you can get a 2 for 1 or whatever the deal is.
Holland America is really good at doing happy hours. There is no happy hours on Cunard. No. So that was a disappointment too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ruthie is saying, when I got home, I made a proper Cosmopolitan. The cocktails were definitely lacking on Cunard. So funny. So for many of you, you know that on Friday night, we do a little trivia game with our patrons. And I always have a Cosmopolitan when I'm doing that. So Friday when I made my Cosmopolitan, I literally turned to Jerry and I said, oh, this is such a good Cosmo in comparison to what I was having on board the ship. Mm-hmm.
So here's a big one. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you feel you got good value for the money you paid for the cruise?
Ready?
Yep.
Oh,
both of us are thumbs up on that one.
We are. I don't know. We've been looking to get on Cunard for a while, and the deal that we got when we booked this was a very good deal. Literally, we booked it last November, I believe it was, somewhere around that time.
Yep.
And when we booked it, we went, wow, this is the same price as what Carnival is offering. And so, we can get on a Cunard ship for the same price as a Carnival ship. Yeah, we're definitely booking it. So as much as I complained about the cost of the internet, the cost of their drink packages, I still think we had good value for what we paid, because our price to get on the ship was a lot cheaper than what we pay to go on Princess or Holland America with the drink package. So you have to have your head, around that.
Yeah, I think if this cruise would have been much more than a Princess or Holland America cruise, then I probably would have said we didn't get enough value for it. But the fact that we had lower price and we had a really good experience, I think that it was good value for the money.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so the last question that everybody wants to know,
okay,
after putting it all together, And the way we can end up the show today is thumbs up or thumbs down. Will we cruise on Cunard again?
Yes,
For
I
sure.
would.
For sure.
I would, but I won't get the drink package. I can tell you that right now. But yes, I would do Cunard again. I thought some of the things I loved that is special to them that other cruise lines don't do made it worthwhile for me. Their formal nights being one of them. Their afternoon tea time in the Queen's Room is phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. The best thing that we had going on. Highly loved it. There was always live music while you're having afternoon tea. Sometimes it was only like 2 or 3 musicians, but there was one day we were there and it was the full orchestra. Like, can you have a better tea experience than that included? So for those reasons alone, definitely, yes, I would do Cunard again.
Yeah, without a doubt. If I would, the only concern I would have is I've always thought I would do Cunard and their ocean liner and do the Queen Mary 2 across the Atlantic.
Right.
Now I'm thinking that since I don't have the drink package, but I can bring on alcohol when I stop at a port. There's no ports between Southampton and New York City.
That's true.
So I can't stop and get any extra alcohol.
So it's better to do it on a Mediterranean cruise.
Mediterranean, Caribbean. I know that the Queen Elizabeth is in Caribbean, I think in January of 25.
It's going to Alaska again next year
next
out
year.
of Seattle, and we
Out of
haven't
Seattle?
gone to Seattle before, so that's still a possibility.
So we're looking at Cunard again, and not sure if we'll do a transatlantic because of the drink prices,
Yeah.
but we would probably do it somewhere else, especially if we got a deal.
Right.
Yep, without a doubt. It's
Yes.
not like some of those other cruise lines that we have on our cruise pause list right now.
Mhm.
We're definitely going to do Cunard again in the future. It's just with 4 ships and the itineraries they sail, it's tough to kind of hit them in the right spot is our challenge in North America.
Right.
But we're going to be looking, that's for sure.
And so Harlan has a question right here. If you sail a lot of Carnival Corporation lines, do they give you a good deal?
They would give you a good deal, he says.
Well, so in our experience, there's no difference than someone who's gone once on a Carnival ship. Or,
Well, in Carnival Corporation's all the different lines,
That's
right?
what I'm trying to say.
And some loyalty levels offer you different amount of perks or discounts and deals that are available that you don't get if you haven't been part of that loyalty program.
Oh, I see.
So there are some deals that are out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So not crazy cheaper deals by any means.
No, I
No.
mean, I can say we've cruised with Carnival Corporation for 43 of our 45 cruises. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it's not like we're getting them dirt cheap because of that. We're paying the same price as anybody. That's what I was trying to get out.
Yeah. And Paul and Carol get the last comment in.
Glad to hear you had an overall good experience and would cruise with them again. Yes, we definitely would.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
we had a wonderful trip.
And all your advice was fantastic.
Yes.
The only thing I disagree on is something Paulie Morgan said.
Oh.
And I prefer the burger in the pub over the burger at the after the ship.
Oh, yes. We did try both burgers at both places. And yeah, the burger in the pub was really good.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Everything in the pub was really good.
But the fish and chips is the best fish and chips I've ever had at sea, too.
And
So,
I took Paul's advice. I had pie of the day. Oh, no, I didn't. I had the chicken tikka masala.
yeah.
Amazing in the pub. I had that as my first
the
meal.
Food, we loved the food in the
Yeah.
Lions pub for sure. Yeah.
For sure. So we'll call it there. We're over our hour
Oh, we are.
by quite a bit. But thank you for joining us. And we're super happy to be home and start working on the vlog so we can show you day by day what we did.
Yes, we had a great time.
Yeah, we had a wonderful time.
Mhm.
So until next week, bye, everybody. Have yourself a good week.
Yes.
And we'll see you next Sunday again.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.